Hello everyone, new guy here. Fortnite, Season 6. Wait, that's not right. Fortnite, Chapter 2, Season 6. Personally, my favorite season in Chapter 2 so far, and because of that, I'm going to be doing a retrospective of the most recent season of Fortnite, Chapter 2, Season 6, Primal. Now, this video is going to be split into 4 sections. Start of the season, Battle Pass, updates and events, and my personal experience and thoughts. So, let's begin with the start of the season, the Zero Crisis Finale event. Unlike other seasons where events would occur near the end of the season and be something we could all witness together, Epic did things a little differently this time. At the start of the season, all players would get to witness a new live event completely solo, known as the Zero Crisis Finale. This event was what moved the story from Season 5 to Season 6, and showed what happened due to John Jones' tampering with the 0 point. Now, I know I said I was going to talk about my personal experiences at the end, but I'm going to give one here. Because I spent all day on the release date of Season 6, March 16th, trying not to see a single thing about the season, not wanting to see any spoilers for the event. When I finally got to get on for myself and watch the live event, I had to watch the event at 2 FPS, and even got completely stuck at one point and couldn't finish the event. So yeah, I started the season a little annoyed, but that's besides the point. The event consisted of Jones successfully getting in contact with the Seven, specifically their leader, The Rock, I mean the Foundation. After this, they teamed up and the Foundation got to work trying to stabilize the 0 point. This opened portals to alternate realities that the player and Jones had to close, which slowly caused the 0 point to start to bloom. And as Jones said, this can't be good, but it is beautiful. Unfortunately, something goes wrong and the Foundation is unable to contain the blast of the 0 point, thus creating the Spire and sealing him and the 0 point inside it. After getting Jones to seal off the 0 point and overloading the device, the Foundation is contained in the Spire and Jones is trapped in the loop. So, that was a lot, but what did it do to the island? Well, as the event went on, the 0 point shot out reality waves, which led to the island to be turned into a primal state. This introduced a bunch of new weapons and mechanics to the game. It also had the introduction of wildlife, which consisted of chickens, boars, and wolves. These animals would give you pieces of meat you could eat for health, and bones, used for crafting, but we'll get to that later. This season introduced a ton of new weapons. We had the introduction of bows, as the only one ever in Battle Royale being the boom bow, new makeshift weapons, and new primal weapons. There were also some unvaulted weapons like the revolver. Now, big new mechanic introduced this season was crafting. As mentioned, the wildlife would give you bones, which could also be found in places across the map. And there were also mechanical parts, which could be attained by breaking things like vehicles. You could also get these parts by talking to NPCs, who got a great update this season, where when talking to them, they could give you random loot varying from materials, crafting parts, health, and shield items, and even weapons. Once you got enough parts, which at the start of the season cost 4 bones or mechanical parts to craft anything, you could upgrade the makeshift weapons into better ones. The makeshift weapons consisted of the makeshift rifle, makeshift shotgun, makeshift SMG, makeshift bow, and makeshift revolver. Using bones, they could be turned to primal weapons, which were, and still are, very powerful forms of existing weapons. There was the primal rifle, primal shotgun, primal bow, primal SMG, and primal pistol. On the other hand, you could use the mechanical parts to create mechanical weapons, which were some of the classic weapons being the assault rifle, pump shotgun, revolver, SMG, as well as the mechanical bow. On the topic of bows, they could be upgraded further from just primal and mechanical. Using a gas can or firefly jar with the primal bow could create the flame bow, a great way to burn down structures, or use a stink sack or 3 stinkfish to create a stink bow. Good bow to use against people camping in builds. For the mechanical bows, you can use 2 shockwave grenades to make a mechanical shockwave bow, a useful bow for travel, or use 6 grenades to make a mechanical explosive bow, a powerful bow that creates an explosion of grenades around where you shoot. These new weapons and mechanics had changed the game's meta completely, and really made the game feel very refreshing and new. Of course, new weapons weren't the only thing added. There were also new POIs. At the center of the map sits the Spire, a tall, menacing structure containing the 0 point. Around it were bony burbs and colossal crops, replacing salty towers and Colossal Coliseum from last season. Last thing I want to bring up is the new mythics. Each season in Season 2, we've gotten new mythic weapons added, and this season had the smallest number yet. There were 2 mythic items, which could both be obtained at the Spire. First was the Spire Assassin's Primal Shotgun. This was an even more powerful version of the already powerful Primal Shotgun and could easily kill people. This was obtained by killing the Spire Assassin boss found at the Spire. The other mythic was certainly an interesting one, the Spire Jump Boots. These allowed you to basically get a low gravity effect and a glider redeploy. Jumping twice would give you a low gravity effect, helpful for stopping fall damage, and jumping 3 times shot you up into the air, allowing you to glide. Now, this item was very difficult to get. First, you had to go around the map to one of the 5 Spire towers. There, you needed to kill a Spire Guardian and take the orb they drop. Then, you needed to go back to the Spire and deliver the orb to the Spire. It was a somewhat tedious task that gave a fun, but overall lackluster reward, which led to it not being used much. Now, that was most of the new gameplay changes added at the start of the season. But what about the other new thing? As you'd expect, the new Battle Pass is added to fit with the season's theme, and, just like every other Battle Pass, besides Chapter 1 Season 2, there were 100 tiers, 6 skins, and 1 secret skin. Because I doubt barely anybody cares about me talking about everything in the pass, I don't expect people complaining that I didn't talk about stuff like the Toon Meowscles banner icon. I'll just talk about the skins and my thoughts on the Battle Pass. So, to start off the season at Tier 1, we have Agent Jones. Agent Jones is, or more so was, an agent at I.O. who, to try and save reality, betrayed I.O. From the events in Season 5, Jones had traveled to other realities to gather hunters, which gave the skin more style as you progressed through the pass. There was Jump 15, giving a more torn up and messy outfit, Jump 23, taking away the sleeves from the shirt and giving him some cool shades as well as a quill, Jump 31, giving him a Street Fighter style look, Jump 42, giving him armor from the Mandalorian, Batman's belt, and a couple other things, then Jump 88, which gave him a poncho. Overall, I think Agent Jones is a pretty nice skin, good pick for Tier 1, and as someone who really likes the storyline, I like the skin a lot more because of his importance to the lore. Next, at Tier 15, we have Lara Croft, a new skin in the Gaming Legends series. Of course, Lara Croft is from the Tomb Raider series, and while I haven't personally played any of the games, the skin is very faithful to the source material. She has a few styles, one being a 25th anniversary style, giving her the outfit she wears in the first games of the series, a classic style, making her look more like she did on the PlayStation, being more polygon-like, and a gold anniversary style, being a fully gold version of the 25th anniversary style. I think Lara Croft as a skin isn't bad, but I don't care that much about the skin as I never played the games. At Tier 29, we have Maeve. Wait, no. We have Tarana. Tarana is a Jurassic-style skin, having a style that lets her wear a dinosaur skeleton, while having a not-as-Jurassic outfit. Wearing short jeans and a t-shirt, she also has an indigo style, making her look more neon, as well as her super level styles. I personally don't like the skin that much, and it just feels like Maeve from Chapter 2 Season 5's Battle Pass, but I do think it looks pretty good with the Enlightened styles, especially Runic and Gold. Coming up next, at Tier 50, we have Raz. Raz has a simple outfit, no shirt, with very baggy white pants, but his story makes the skin interesting. He spends the season trying to study the Spire and figure out its powers, and to help him do so through the Spire quest. Completing these quests, you get the Glyph Master Raz style, making him powered up from the Spire's secrets. Just like Tarana, he also has super level styles to boot. I think Raz is very basic at the start, but all his unlockable styles make the skin look amazing, and I think it's one of the better skins in the pass. At Tier 61, we have Cluck. Cluck is the meme skin of the Battle Pass, being a giant yellow chicken with parts of an eggshell as his armor. Cluck also has two other styles, being Explosive, giving him black fur with a big red X on him, as well as a gray camo color for the eggshells. He also has a Slurp style, turning him completely into a Slurp creature, like Ripley, and making the eggshells parts of Slurp barrels. I think it's a silly skin and isn't horrible, but I didn't find myself wearing it very much. And again, didn't wear many of the skins because I used Paradigm 9 out of 10 times. Anyways, at tier 77 we have Raven, or Rebirth Raven. This is another collab, being with the Teen Titans. Raven has a large feathery cape with a hood drooping over her head, with a sleek black and dark blue colored outfit. She also has two other styles, being the Classic, giving her a more comic book style look, and the Rachel Roth style, giving her the look from more recent Teen Titan comics. I think Raven is a pretty nice skin and the outfit looks cool, but I don't feel it fits with everything else in the past. Then, lastly, we have at tier 100, Spire Assassin. Spire Assassin has an outfit that looks as if it was made from the Spire, being that they are the protector of the Spire, and also having a blue flame coming out of the back of her helmet and chest. They also have a built-in emote that lets you take the helmet off as well. She also has edit styles for the super level forms. I think Spire Assassin is a decent skin with nice colors, but I think the male version that released near the end of the season looks way better and really should have been tier 100 instead. I also never use the emote because the hair on the skin just looks horrible to me. In the end, I used the other cosmetics in her set more than the skin itself. But wait, that's not all. We also had the secret skin, being the first Icon series skin in a battle pass, Neymar Jr. The skin is, well, Neymar, wearing a soccer or football outfit. He came with an edit style called Exhibition, which gave him a yellow, green, and blue color scheme. So had a built-in emote that gave him an animal-like suit. While I don't think Neymar in any way deserved to be a secret skin, I was pleasantly surprised. I liked his set more than I expected, and actually really liked his emote. Overall, the battle pass wasn't bad, but it definitely had some weak parts, and as I mentioned, I didn't really use the skins as much. Overall, I personally give the battle pass about a 7 out of 10. Now, of course, as the season went on, we had some updates and events that occurred, introducing a variety of new things. I picked in things a little differently with updates this season. Every 2 weeks, we had a big update that added new cosmetics, challenges, etc. But each week in between a new update, we had mini updates of sorts that usually introduce new items. Throughout the season, we had gotten 5 big updates. The first update was 16.10, which added new wildlife, raptors. Raptors were quick, agile, had a lot of health, and could easily break builds. If you didn't have any weapons with a decent amount of ammo, you were most likely going to be killed by one. People generally found raptors annoying and felt it was a missed opportunity not to be able to ride the raptors, but for what they were worth, they weren't horrible. A week later, we had the addition of a new weapon, the Recycler. This held 3 ammo and shot a clump of materials, and you got ammo back by sucking up the materials from almost anything you can break. The weapon was a cool idea, but did not deal much damage, barely did damage to builds, didn't have a lot of ammo, and was generally mediocre. This had also replaced the Spire Guardian's Mythic Primal Shotgun, as she had now used a Mythic Recycler. It was a cool idea, but not executed very well. We then had the release of 16.20, which introduced car mods. The new mod was the Chonkers, which allowed cars to drive off-road with no slowdown in speed. This was a great addition and made cars much more useful. They were fairly common, but not too easy to find, and when you found them, you would throw them onto a car or truck to give it the mod. The mod also made it possible to drive up every hill, and even drive on water. Needless to say, this was probably one of the best additions during the season. The next week, we got a new exotic item sold by Lara Croft, being a new bow, the Grappler Bow. As the name entails, it's a bow that, well, would you believe it, works like a grappler. This was actually fairly useful as it had a longer range than the Grappler and would not cause you to take fall damage. The only problem was it was an exotic, which meant people didn't use it very much and was forgotten by most fairly quickly. In the halfway point, we had the 16.30 update, which I like to call it the bow update. From this point onward, updates didn't really add a lot of stuff to the game gameplay-wise. This update introduced an all-new exotic sold by Raven, the Unstable Bow. This new bow was a 4-in-1, being that each shot it would change between either the flame, stink, explosive, or shockwave bow. It gave the opportunity to come up with some interesting strategies that made you really rely heavily on RNG. The other addition was the finale to the Spire quest. This had Raz as a boss in his Glyph Master form and was incredibly strong. If you managed to defeat him, you got a new mythic, being Raz's explosive bow, which was just a slightly stronger explosive bow. This was also the update that contained the release of Neymar Jr. and his challenges to unlock his set, which to correlate with the challenges added 3 new NPCs and soccer fields that got added to the map. Next up, we had update 16.40, probably the last big update of this season. This introduced a new NPC, being Aurelia, the female counterpart to Oro. Her island fully appeared in this update behind Flush Factory and contained a legendary scar. You could take the scar and try to run while be attacked by Aurelia, or you could give a 750 gold tribute to take the scar without her attacking. Even with these options, you really only had one, taking it and running. This was because if you picked up the scar while wearing Lara Croft, specifically the 35th anniversary style, you got a new gold version of the 35th anniversary style. Because of this, 90% of the lobby would land there, making it difficult to do pretty much anything, and also give PTSD of getting 7 chests at risky reels. We also saw a new exotic added, the Marksman 6-shooter. Since pretty much no one likes the 6-shooter and no one buys exotics, this was really only used right at the release to try out. And then, never seen again. Also, the dog got vaulted. So, we had a fun exotic replaced by a bad one. Yippee! Later in the update, we had gotten the introduction of a new LTM, the Impossible Escape LTM. This was a survival-based mode that could be played as a PvP or PvE mode, or as I like to call it, Save the World. In the PvE one, players were unable to hurt each other, and there were 3 broken choppers around the map. You had about 40 minutes to try and find the 4 parts needed to fix the chopper and fly off the island. To find these parts, you had to talk to a hunt master to get a quest to obtain a raptor claw. This would mark on the map where raptors were, and when killing one, there was a chance they would drop a claw. But odds are you will probably get killed by the raptors because you have bad weapons with not much ammo and are being attacked by 2 to 3 raptors. If you return the claw to the hunt master, the 4 parts you need will be marked on the map for the rest of the match. Each part is guarded by Rustlord NPCs who will not hesitate to aimbot you and forever try to kill you the entire match, if you don't kill them first. If you get the part, it will take up 2 inventory slots and you must add it to one of the broken down choppers. After getting all 4 parts back, you need to fly the chopper to the marked area off the map and fly to victory. In the PvP mode, it was fairly similar, except people could game end each other, and there was only 1 chopper on the map. However, in both modes, you could use special emotes to join people's teams, slowly building a squad. The problem? You can also leave the team you had joined. The PvP mode, this led to a lot of toxicity, as people would leave their team and kill them right before they won the match. This was more frustrating to people as winning the PvE mode reward you a loading screen, but if you won the PvP mode, you got an umbrella. The mode was fun and something new, but the toxic community that Fortnite is known for made the PvP mode especially not fun to play at all. And the community generally didn't enjoy it as much because of that. Also, sometime between updates 16.40 and 16.50, we had seen the unvaulting of the infantry rifle and the TAC shotgun. These are 2 fan favorite guns, especially the TAC. So their addition made the gunplay a little more enjoyable for those who didn't like it with how it was most of the season. Now, last but not least, we had update 16.50, the final update. With it, we got nothing new. Well, not entirely true. With the update, there weren't really many changes, but we slowly got hints towards the next season, which ended up being alien themed. There were some posters around the map relating to aliens and some challenges that hinted towards some things. But the big thing was that in the final days of the season, there was an incredibly small chance that you could actually get abducted. While all it did was give you full health and shield and teleport you to a different area, it was still a new little mini event type up to next season. And with this, updates had been wrapped up for Season 6. That's not all we had. Starting in the week that the Recycler got added, we had a new event called Wild Weeks, or as I like to call it, the Avatar event. We had 4 Wild Weeks, and each one related to a different gameplay aspect. The first week was about fire. Flame bows and firefly jars were more common, and fire spread quicker and dealt more damage. This made things very chaotic and caused the death of Weeping Woods in many loops, I'm sure. It definitely didn't help when the buffed fire spread and damage ended up staying as a permanent update too. Next up, the second Wild Week was about water, well, specifically fishing. This made fishing spots more common, fishing rods rarer than pro rods, and harpoon guns easier to find. The best thing about this week was anyone who hadn't completed their fishing boats could get it done pretty easily now. Although I think I'm the only one who cares about the fishing book. This week was more of a relaxing one, as fishing isn't the most intense thing in Fortnite. After water, we had air. The next Wild Week was based around low gravity. Hot floppers were more common, shockwave bows were more common, and shockwaves were more common. And you could fly to the moon. This week was more fun than chaotic or relaxing, as the boost in the low gravity effect made it funny how far you could go with just one shockwave. And, finishing things off, the final Wild Week was Earth. Sort of. The final Wild Week was about gold. Everything was cheaper to buy, and getting more gold was just generally easier. This week was pretty much just boosting the island's economy and learning to waste all your money. And again, the game already does that. Which, speaking of wasting money, that leads me to the final thing we had this season. Nearing the end of the season, we had a new event of sorts, a collaboration with the NBA. This added a few new challenges for creative, and brought a bunch of new skins to the shop. The new skins could let you wear any team jersey, and there was a back bling of a basketball hoop that could have any team logo on it. Plus, we got a traversal emote. With that being said, this was a kind of lame event. It just felt like an excuse to put a bunch of skins in the shop, way more than we needed, to try and make money, and the challenges were boring and only based around one map. So it wasn't anything crazy, but it was neat. And that finishes up all the updates and such we had this season. So now we can move to the part that people care about the least, my opinions. I absolutely loved this season. I had an absolute blast playing in Season 6. The new features spiced up gameplay and really made it feel like I was playing more than a battle royale, which made things much more fun. The primal weapons were a blast to use, and I absolutely adore the bows. The bows were so much fun to make, and they were amazing to use. I had some really cool shots with the bows, and I just love them, and I easily prefer them over snipers. A big thing for me is that when I play the game, I have the most fun and generally have the most sound to play when I have challenges to do. And with more than just weekly challenges, having Wild Weeks, Spire Quests, NBA challenges, and more, I always felt like I had a reason to play. The Battle Pass wasn't the greatest to me, but I feel like leveling up and getting a 225 for all the Enlightened styles wasn't tedious and made things much more enjoyable. The wildlife made it easier to have quick heals in hand, and chickens made it fun to just run around. Another big thing for me personally this season is I played the best I ever have this chapter. I played a lot of solos and easily got over 20 wins in that alone. I played very well this season, and a big reason for that I think was the gameplay. It was just so much fun getting on and playing during Chapter 2 Season 6, and I think it's definitely the best season this chapter. Before this, I thought Season 2 was the best season during this chapter, but I just remember being extremely exhausted playing that season because of trying to get the level 350 for all Gold Agent styles, which I only got to level 330. And time of writing this part of the script, it's almost a month into Chapter 2 Season 7, and I generally still think Season 6 was better. A big thing for me this season is that it's pretty much more fun to play with friends, while last season was fun in any mode personally. I do find Season 7 enjoyable, but a lot of aspects are very weak. A great example is the Battle Pass. But this video was on Season 6, not Season 7. And that concludes my retrospective / recap of Chapter 2 Season 6. I spent a lot of time making this video and feel very passionate about it. If you have any differing opinions on the season, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.